Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new GX. Specifically, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a look at Aerodactyl-GX. This was revealed on the official website this morning, and my translation largely comes from Google Translate, although I will of course make sure I check with David before I post the video to make sure I've not made any dumb mistakes. So we start off having a look at the basics here. It's a stage 1. It evolves from unidentified fossil, and 210 HP, I mean look, for stage 1 GXs, this is about right. This is up there with Zoroark. Stage 1, 210, we like it. Retreat cost of 0 is awesome. Free retreat is wonderful. After a KO, after using something like an escape rope, although that has rotated out by the time this comes out. But anything along those lines where you've got to switch your active is brilliant. We love free retreat. Weakness to grass is honestly fine. You will come across the odd Celebi and Venusaur deck who will have a field day. Outside of that, you should be alright. And being a fighting type is awesome. It means you can use Diancie Prism Star to do a little bit of extra damage. It means you've got Martial Arts Dojo to do a little bit of extra damage. It means you've got Black Belt to reduce the energy cost to do the damage. And it means you're hitting weakness against Pikachu and Zekrom. Being a fighting type at the moment is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So there's a lot to like here. But please do remember it is a restored Pokemon, which means you've got to evolve it from unidentified fossil. Having said that, I would like to remind you that we looked at Laboratory the other day. And Laboratory, now it does end your turn, but it lets you grab 2 Pokemon that evolve from unidentified fossil, put them straight onto your bench. So you can use that to get a couple of Aerodactyl out in the early game, which will help you out rather nicely indeed. So we like this, but what does it actually do? Well, as long as this is your active Pokemon, the energy required for your opponent's basic Pokemon to attack is increased by 1. It's Wonder Labyrinth Prism Star, but it's for basic Pokemon, not for non-fairy Pokemon. Now, to be honest, if you wanted to go nuts here, you could combine it with Wonder Labyrinth Prism Star, but of course, that would also be increasing your attack cost. There is an argument that that's probably not something you want to do. It's out there, it's possible, but come on, remember, we're not accelerating fighting energy very easily at the moment, so I don't think it's something we want to get too excited about. But as long as this is active, your opponent's basic Pokemon have to pay more energy to attack. This is a good thing. And one of the best things about this is that all those Tag Team GXs are basic Pokemon. I've already mentioned Celebi and Venusaur, but I could mention Pikachu and Zekrom. Now, Pikachu and Zekrom here is huge, because generally speaking, they use Thunder Mountain to reduce their attack cost by 1, and Tapu Koko Prism Star to put 1 energy onto each of 2 bench Pokemon. So all of a sudden, that first attack for Pikachu and Zekrom isn't Lightning, Lightning, Lightning. It's Lightning, Lightning, but one of them's already been paid by Tapu Koko, so it actually becomes, in essence, a single energy attack. So they do 150, they accelerate 3 energy, and from there they're off. As soon as you've used that first attack on Pikarom, you've accelerated the energy and you're going. Problem here is that all of a sudden it's not essentially 1 energy, it's essentially 2. And all of a sudden that turn 1 attack isn't a turn 1 attack, it's a turn 2 attack. That makes a huge difference, especially when you're being hit for weakness. So that's kind of funky. We could look at Reshiram and Charizard here. Reshiram and Charizard attacks for the main attack, 3 fire, 1 colourless energy. So look, maybe they drop Lieutenant Surge's strategy, and then double Welder. But to do that, they've got to have Lieutenant Surge and Welder in hand, and they've got to have 2 energy, and then including the 3 cards drawn from the first Welder, they've got to have a second Welder and another 2 energy. It's possible, but it's extremely unlikely. What's far more likely is that they're going to attach an energy, Welder, and then the next turn attach an energy. Or if they go first, they might just attach an energy, and then next turn, Welder and attach an energy. The point is they're probably using 2 manual attachments and 1 welder. But now all of a sudden with this in the active, that doesn't work anymore, so they're really rocking 2 welder and a manual attachment to get the attack going. And to be fair, when they get the attack going, they will get a 1-hit KO, but it makes it way less likely this is actually going to work. Now, it is an ability on a basic GX, so that means that Alolan Muck in Expanded will turn it off. It means that Glaceon GX in Expanded will turn it off. But far more relevantly, it means that Aerodactyl will be turned off by Power Plant. And here's the thing. This is an ability which is relevant on your opponent's turn. Which means that on your opponent's turn, if they can get rid of Power Plant, it does nothing. It's relevant when they're attacking. So, Power Plant makes this ability a lot weaker, because your opponent can go, oh, I don't have the requisite energy to attack. Play down any stadium, now they do. So that is a bit of a pain. The main attack here, 1 fighting, 2 colourless energy, 120. Now 120 here kind of sucks, because we really want to do 130. So stuff like Buzzwole, stuff like Granbull, they're going down. And let's face it, there's a whole bunch of GXs out there like Tapu Koko that do 130. Doing 120 is kind of annoying. But then you remember that Pikachu and Zekrom has 240 HP and a weakness to fighting, and you go, well, we're getting a 1-hit KO, I suppose that's kind of cool. And then you remember that Diancie Prism Star is a thing, and you go, oh, well that's alright then, that's also kind of cool. Because now I'm hitting 140 and I am getting all those Pokemon. But then we remember that if we're behind on prizes, Black Belt will reduce the energy cost by 1, and Martial Arts Dojo will mean we do an extra 40 damage. To be fair, if we're not behind on prizes, then it does an extra 10, but let's assume we are. Well, now all of a sudden, Diancie Prism Star and Martial Arts Dojo means we're doing 180 damage. Well, that's a little bit better. All of a sudden, there's a 1-hit KO on a Blacephalon. There's a 1-hit KO on a Rayquaza. And now this is a decent amount of damage. You're pretty much only getting basic GXs, and even then there's a whole bunch of things like Ultra Necrozma, for instance, which is sitting there at 190 and won't be KO'd, but you can get up to 180 fairly easily here. And of course, you can also use Miss Magius if you really want to put yourself behind on prizes. If you don't want to go behind on prizes, naturally, Miss Magius has got your back. So you're hitting a good weakness and you can get up to GX KOing territory. It's kind of nice. The attack cost is still kind of awkward though. Black Belt will bring it down to 2 colourless energy, but we're losing double colourless energy. But we're not losing triple acceleration energy. And that, I think, is where you have to go here. Now, having said that, the Aerodactyl from Team Up will do 180 without any extra stuff. You don't need the Diancie in the Martial Arts Dojo, and it will do it for just a triple acceleration energy, but it's also not hitting any weakness, so I'll leave that one up to you. Honestly, you probably should be playing a pair of them. So now with a Black Belt and a triple acceleration energy, you're doing essentially 180. That's alright. We're into slightly awkward territory, because I'm telling you, you need a Black Belt, you need a triple acceleration energy, you need a Martial Arts Dojo, you need to be behind on prizes, and it is a Stage 1 restored Pokemon. But even so, there's a little bit of potential here. I kind of like it. Not in love with it, but it's a decent attack. And then we get to the GX attack. This attack does 50 damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. If that sounds familiar, it should, though it's from a Pokemon that hasn't seen any play in a very long time. It's Gumshoes! Now, to be fair, it's actually slightly worse than Gumshoes. Gumshoes was 10 plus 50. This is just 50 times, which is slightly annoying. But outside of that, yay! It's fine. This is what I like to refer to as the classic GX attack. This is a one-hit KO at one point during the game. Your opponent piles a bunch of energy on, and then you get a one-hit KO. It's not particularly stunning, but it will do. It's for 1 fighting energy, so it's a very cheap attack. And certainly something like a Pikachu and Zekrom that puts 3 energy on, you then get a one-hit KO fairly easily. This is actually great against Tag Team GXs. Because against Tag Team GXs, they're going to be wanting to use their GX attack. So something like a Reshiram and Charizard needs 6 energy to do 200 damage, plus 100, so 300, and go through all effects. So if they've got 6 energy on, you'll get a very easy one-hit KO. But then again, they only need 4 energy on to KO you, and then you're only doing 200, and even with a Martial Arts Dojo and a Diancie Prism Star, you'll actually be falling 10 damage short. If you're against something like a Magikarp and Wailord, they're going to be trying to get 8 damage counters on, which means you're hitting 400 damage, which means you're getting a fairly easy one-hit KO. If you look at something like Celebi and Venusaur, if they want to shuffle their entire discard pile back into their deck, then they've got to have 5 energy attached. Now that is only doing 250, but then Diancie Prism Star will come in and get a one-hit KO, so we're alright with this. This'll work. This is a weirdly good Pokemon against Tag Team GXs. Increasing the attack cost is really good and will slow them down. And then the attack here, the GX attack, is really made for Tag Team GX attacks where they're attaching all that extra energy. The main attack is slightly underwhelming, but at least we've got ways to increase the damage, so that will work. And I haven't even mentioned stuff like Zapdos here, because Zapdos is really built as a single energy Pokemon, and this will stop it. Granbull is really built as a single energy Pokemon, and this will stop it. There are a bunch of single energy Pokemon out there that can have real difficulty against Aerodactyl. So I'm going to be giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I don't think this is a massively, stunningly, amazingly, brilliantly, awesome, game-breaking card, but I do think there is a lot of potential. It's got a really nice ability, it's got a nice GX attack, and a serviceable main attack. But I would very much like to know what you think. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.